Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Two English giants in Manchester United and Arsenal faced off at Old Trafford. Solskjaer was looking for another win to keep up their momentum, whilst Arteta was looking to get Arsenal properly going this season. In the end, the match ended 1-0 to Arsenal thanks to an Aubameyang penalty. The XG indicated it was a deserved win, 1 to 0.39. But when you consider that the penalty accounts for 0.76 of that XG, it becomes clearer that both sides struggled to create quality chances. The XG time map suggested it was a fairly even match until the penalty. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look. A quick shout out to my Patreons for helping to make this video possible. If you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple and you'll get rewards like early access to videos and exclusive content. A quick reminder of the formations used by both sides, as seen on the OneFootball app. OneFootball will get you match updates, formation updates, as well as player and team stats, and so much more. And the best part is, you can get it absolutely free through the sponsored link in the description below. Let's start by looking at what United looked to do on the ball. United were usually able to come out of the first phase initially, with De Gea looking to find either centre-back. Although Arsenal played with a high block, they weren't aggressive in the press, instead hoping to cut off passing lanes. This is shown by their passes per defensive action of almost 12. Arsenal's shape adapted in these scenarios, and Lacazette tended to drop deeper to pick up the deepest pivot, whilst Aubameyang and Willian would push narrower ahead of him. This would make things more even in midfield, where Arsenal would have been 4 versus 2 down. But there were a few permutations. It meant that naturally, the United fullbacks would be free in these phases, and United would look to find them. But both Arsenal wingbacks, and Bellerin in particular, were aggressive in the press, looking to close down the fullback. At times, we did see Pogba look to push up into the vacated space, with the forwards occupying the wide centre-back, to then look to receive the long ball. And occasionally, we would see one of the forwards drop in to receive the ball in these regions, dragging an Arsenal centre-back out of position, whilst the remaining forward looked to make the runs in behind. United were not persistent with this pattern of play, however, and it had looked promising in the early stages. But United were much more willing to use the centre of the pitch than Arsenal. We often saw them drop into a back three, with any of the 4 midfielders dropping in, but usually Fred, and this would draw Lacazette higher up as he followed his man. Suddenly, United would have the 3 versus 2 advantage, with a man dropping in to pick up the ball as the third man. But when Fred stayed higher, McTominay would come central to form a double pivot, giving them 2 easy options they could use to play out. At times, Arsenal's midfielders were looking to apply pressure, and with Rashford or Greenwood often threatening in behind, it often left massive spaces for a man, whether the attacking midfielder or a dropping forward, to drop deep and pick up the ball to turn. Another way United looked to create space was by manipulating Arsenal's pivots. Arsenal's men often looked to stay touch tight, so it was often the United pivots who would move wide to try and create the overload against the one wingback. And the Arsenal pivot would be drawn wide. This then left space for the remaining forward to drop in and pick up the ball to try and create. So, Arsenal adapted as the game went on, trying to deny United space and passing channels into the central regions. The front three wouldn't be drawn into a press anymore, even when a midfielder dropped deep, and instead they would look to hold their shape and use their cover shadows to prevent central progression. Higher up the pitch, United did struggle to create, with Arsenal deep in a 5-2-3. Pogba and Shaw often looked to combine down the left-hand side against Bellerin to get into crossing situations, but it was often to no avail, although Shaw did attempt 8 crosses, including set pieces. But what did Arsenal do in possession? From the goal kick, United were aware of how proficient Arsenal are at playing out deep to create space higher up the pitch, so for the most part United did impress them here, with a passes per defensive action of almost 18. However, from open play, we did see them draw a forward into pressing Leno, whilst Gabriel and Holding split wide. This would then draw a wide midfielder towards Bellerin when he received the ball, and as a result, despite having the numerical disadvantage in midfield, an Arsenal pivot would now be free to get onto the ball. And higher up the pitch, they used different mechanisms, often trying to equalize the numbers in midfield to some extent. On the left-hand side, this could be done by Tierney moving into a deep left-back zone, whilst Aubameyang stayed wider, allowing Saka into the half space. His positioning here made it hard for Wan-Bissaka to pick him up as he was drawn to the ball, and if a wide midfielder came across, there would now be more space in central regions. Alternatively, Tierney pushed even higher into a traditional overlapping fullback role, while Saka stayed central, and this would now allow Aubameyang and Lacazette to occupy the box and look to get on the end of crosses. But the positioning of Bellerin and Willian was interesting. They never occupied the same vertical lane, with one of them staying wide, usually Willian, and one central, usually Bellerin. So, with the overload on the left causing United to shift across, quick lateral passing would often find them free in this region. From here, he could look to cross or play in Willian out wide. We see elements of this in the penalty. The ball is played to Willian out wide, who occupies Shaw, and Bellerin is in the half space. He makes the run into the channel, and although Pogba looks to have covered across, he brings Bellerin down, which was the decisive moment. Arteta and Arsenal will be delighted with the result, but there are still a lot of concerning traits for both sides. Arsenal struggled creatively, taking only 7 shots this game, and their 8.6 shots per game is still incredibly low. For Solskjaer, the main concerns will be their continued struggles against low block teams despite their offensive talents. And as always, not every tactic was covered, so let me know what else you noticed down below. And a special thanks to all my Patreons for helping to make this video possible, including Frederick Hammer. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.